I got Indiana. They walked into Eugene.
Hoosiers. Yeah.
I mean, they walked into Eugene and beat Oregon. Now we don't know what Oregon is, right? But one of the things they held Oregon at 267 yards of total offense. And we talking about the same offense that had 424 yards against Penn State, right? I think Kurt Signetti is the real deal. I mean, he's 136 and 37 overall, right? But just think, he came to Indiana, and right now he's 17-2 at Indiana. His defense is tied for fourth in the country at giving up only 229 yards a game behind some defensive stalwarts like Oklahoma, Missouri, Ohio State. I mean, he's got that team humming.
Hey, welcome back to the Unbiased Room. We got another episode of Hot Takes. And, it's been an interesting football season so far. I just want to hear y'all thoughts, man. Ron, what you got?
All right, so I have Indiana can win it all this year. All right. So
Scorching.
when you look at it, first thing, and I'm just starting out, they held Oregon to 267 yards of total offense. This is the same offense that had over 424 yards against Penn State. And they're tied for fourth in the country in defense, total defense, behind Oklahoma, Missouri, Toledo, and they're tied with Ohio State and James Madison at 220, giving up only 229 yards a game. They still got Michigan State, who they're going to beat pretty handily. They got UCLA, who they may face some difficulty with, Maryland. They got to go to Penn State, and then Wisconsin and Purdue. But I have a lot of faith in this Indiana team. And here are some of the reasons why. Significant upgrade at quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, right, who's a Cal transfer. You got to look at that defensive front, man. They sacked Dante Moore 6 times and picked him off twice. They got a top wide receiver and Elijah Surratt, who came over from James Madison with Kurt Signetti. And I just think that this team could make a run. And last thing, I've been bullish on Signetti for a while. I think he's a great coach. He's eccentric, right? But nobody has came in and turned a team that was one of the worst in FBS to now. Yes, last year everybody said they were a pretender, and they weren't. But this year they are a legit championship contender. And I'll leave you with this. They beat Illinois 63-10 when the number one team, which is Ohio State, struggled with Illinois and won 34-16, with Illinois having a chance to even score again to put up 23 points. Indiana is a real deal, and I think teams need to fear them in the playoffs.
Well, my little answer, so they put on 63 against Illinois, but then the next week, man, they only put 20 against Iowa, to counter your hot take. So I think they are going to run the table, but they're gonna run to a buzzsaw in the Big Ten championship.
Against Ohio State?
Yeah, I don't see Ohio State losing the game.
So you think Indiana will lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship?
Yep.
To be fair, Ohio State really don't look dominant. Like, I think that Indiana Ohio State game would be kind of close, but Indiana being a championship contender, I just think once they run into the big boys, I was wrong about them. I will admit I was wrong about them beating Oregon, because I did pick Oregon to beat them, but so they proved me wrong with that. But once you compare and they're in the same name and conversations as James Madison, I'm like, all right. But That's but they're exceeding expectations. They're a better team than what people thought. So I'm actually interested to see what they're gonna do in the playoffs because they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a scorching take, my brother. Scorching take. All right, Ed, what you got?
All right, man. My hot take is that Mike Norvell only won because of the leftover players that were there from Willie Taggart. All right. So I'm gonna go through the numbers for Mike Norvell, man. 2021 or 2020, that's that COVID season, 3-6. 2021, 5-7, 10-3 and 22, 13-1. Then they dropped down to 2-10 and 24, and they're off to 3-3 start right now, right? So this year, I have them losing 2 or 3 more games. So I'm predicting they're going to end up with a 7-5 record. And part of their problem is that recruiting, man. Mike Norvell has not been able to recruit at Florida State. So they're letting
Yes.
blue chip players go who are within driving distance of Tallahassee. I think one of their commits just went to Cal, I think, or one of the players that they could have grabbed, which was right there in Georgia, signed with Cal. So this year they're ranked 13th according to 24/7 Sports in recruiting. Last year they were 18th, and 24 they were 11th, 23 they were 16th, and 22 they were 19th. So they haven't broke the top 10 in recruiting since Norvell's been there. Also, in the past 44 years, Florida State has rarely suffered 3-game losing streaks, right? And 6 of those have come during Norvell's tenure since 2020. What kept him What's crazy is that he coached around Jordan Travis, right? And that team, Jordan Travis out, that team gets annihilated by Texas and not Texas, by Georgia in that bowl game. I know people are like, oh yeah, 9 people sat out, but hey man, you got to talk your players into playing, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a 63-3 loss that's forever on your Florida State record. I just don't think Norvell is that dude, man.
I would agree with you. I think Norvell is vastly overrated. He came off a opening win against Brian Kelly that like jumpstart this hype with him, and then of course this year how he kicked it off with Bama. But yeah, when it came to recruiting, Norvell is not good at all. I wouldn't say not good, but he's not the best recruiter at all. And Florida State,
Yeah.
they're not. Yeah,
Yeah, I concur with that as well. One of the things that was unique about Mike Norvell is he's not pulling high school recruits, as Ed alluded to. His thing is he wants, more impact players. He's one of the first ones to really utilize that
that's true.
transfer portal. All right.
Yeah.
And like I said, he found a lot of success in it that year that they went, what was it, 13-1, I think he said. He found
Yeah.
he had a lot of success in it at that time. But then you look at the flip side when he had DJ Ungalea last year, right? And that whole transfer portal thing, because they had the number 1 transfer portal class, if I remember correctly, but they looked horrible last year. No continuity, like players were out for themselves. And that's the deal that you make when you go strictly transfer portal instead of trying to build players from the high school level. So,
Yeah, that's it,
uh,
man. Jordan Travis was a Taggart guy. So, and that dude was special, man. It sucks that he got injured in a trash game, pretty much ruined, he didn't play in the league much after that, or he didn't, he never made a full recovery. But yeah, Norvell hasn't brought in the talent, man. Like in the transfer portal, he's brought some talent in. Castellanos is a dog, right? But I don't think Castellanos is that passer that's going to go out there and win it week in and week out, man. He scrambles, he's scrappy. He's not a world beater, man. He's not an all-star like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So he reminds me of Jalen Milroe, and I say that because he has a strong arm and can throw the deep ball, but he struggles from the games that I've seen in that mid-range passing game. So, and yeah, I don't think maybe Norvell is gone at the end of the season.
So
Should be.
I don't think he's gonna be gone. I think they give him one more year. He just signed a big contract. What was it last year? I mean, this year.
No,
Or was it
what?
last year?
I thought it was the year that they went uh whatever
Yeah,
You're
2 years
right.
ago.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, 2 years
yeah. You're
ago.
right. Two
Yeah.
years ago. I don't think they get rid of him, man. I think they give him one more year. Now, I preface that by saying that's if they go 7-5. But if things go south real bad, I could see them getting rid of him. But if they just a 7-5 team, 8-14, I don't see them getting rid of him.
How many
So I
years
just
have been
looked
there?
up his
This
buyout. His
this is five.
buyout is 58 million.
58 million, man. That's
Yeah. I don't see Florida State doing that. Like I said, Penn State is able to do it because they got some powerful boosters. I don't know if Florida State has it like that.
Yeah.
nah, man. But you should be able to recruit at Florida State, man. That's a national brand there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's not able to.
Tough.
Mm.
That's tough. That's tough. All right, Vic. Hot take.
So my hot take is, which I don't expect us to miss the playoffs, but if LSU miss the playoffs, Brian Kelly is out, and in comes Lane Kiffin. So I say this for multiple reasons. Now I repeat, I don't expect us to miss the playoffs. We're a guaranteed lock in the playoffs. Book it. But Brian Kelly, he's just not. I never liked Brian Kelly. He's not a right fit for LSU. He's not the guy. And James Franklin from Penn State just got relieved of his services. Guess who's the first name on the list for coaching candidates? Brian Kelly. Now, if we do miss the playoffs this year again in Brian Kelly's fourth year, our boosters and just the university that we are, we're not accepting that. We already wanted Kelly out last year. We just invest, especially with so much money we invested into our team this year. So not making the playoffs is not an option. Brian Kelly is out. Lane Kiffin, before he got the Ole Miss job, wanted to come to LSU. And before we hired Brian Kelly, he was linked to LSU. And his son just came on a recruiting class to LSU. So if Brian Kelly is out, and we're not going to hire no coach with no experience or nothing like that, it's going to be somebody with experience. So I would say Lane Kiffin, come on in because he wants to be at LSU. Is documented. But also, just to throw it out there, if we don't get Lane Kiffin, my personal opinion would be call Joe Brady up, get Joe Brady in there, see if we can offer Nick Saban a little bit, see what he can do if he want to come out of retirement. But yeah, if or John Gruden, but if because John Gruden also said he wants to coach a SEC team, so he ain't gonna coach Mississippi State or Vanderbilt or Bama. But so we'll I say if we miss the playoffs, Brian Kelly is out. He go to that Penn State job, and we get Lane Kiffin. I personally want Joe Brady, but yeah.
Hey,
Hey
man.
man, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard, man.
Hey man,
Hey
expectation
man.
Hey,
expectations is
man.
high over here,
Hold
man.
on, hold on. Hey, you said your piece, right? It's my turn to speak. I don't think if y'all miss the playoffs, they might fire Brian Kelly.
Ain't no
That's
Mike. He's
possible.
out of here. He's out of here.
I don't think that he's going to Penn State, right? Because it's going to be a buyout, the whole situation, right? I think he sits out of coaching for a year, right? Recoup some of that money, get his sanity back. Ole Miss ain't giving up Lane Kiffin, man. I don't think they're giving up Lane Kiffin, man. I don't see him leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU.
Ole
I,
Miss. Ole Miss is not even a. Lane Kiffin will jump the minute anybody above Ole Miss offer him something. Ole Miss is not a money bringer. Ole Miss is still not the top of the SEC, no matter where they at right now. And LSU is the
Hey,
bigger brand than Ole Miss.
we're talking about the same old Miss that beat LSU already.
Hmm.
That same
Yeah,
old Miss.
but let's name like the brand of Ole Miss. Name people that came from Ole Miss that you can just.
And we talk
Nah,
about the
all
brand and we
right.
talk
So
about the coaches, man.
No, we talk about the
I,
coaches, but let's talk. But the
I could
brand
see Brian
matters.
Kelly.
The brand
I could see
matters.
Brian Kelly run into like Penn State and something like that because that's what fits Brian Kelly more, right? But Lane Kiffin, that's like a lateral jump to LSU. It's not. It is, man. In hiring somebody within conference, and I get that his future son-in-law plays at LSU. He might want to, you know what I'm saying, bring in some more players there. But
His
I
actual
don't think
son,
Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin's jumping to LSU is maybe there's a little bit more money there,
a lot more.
right?
I just don't see it happening, man. You don't
Mm.
go to a team in conference, man. I don't see it. Ron, what you think?
I mean, it's been pulled off before. I mean, of course, Saban from LSU to Bama, but he did go to Miami
He
first,
he
right?
went to the
Yeah, he came and
NFL.
lied.
Yeah,
He came
He
and
didn't
lied
yeah,
to the
go from
Dolphins in
school to
their
school.
face, and then
Yeah,
went to college.
yeah.
yeah.
I'll be back at Bama.
I, I'm with y'all. I don't see Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU. If anything, I can see him leaving to get out of the conference and go to like the Penn State, possibly. But I don't see him going to LSU. Right. I think LSU will hire somebody outside of the conference, and it'll probably be a big name, like maybe a pro coach or something like that. But I don't see Lane Kiffin going from Ole Miss to
Lane
LSU.
Kiffin don't even fit Penn State. Like just his personality,
I'm
his
just giving,
charisma. It's not a Penn State type of coach.
yeah, I'm just
So,
giving an example because
oh
the
yeah,
Big
yeah, yeah,
Ten is a lot easier though than the SEC. Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Championships matter though, and players matter, and money talk. So, but we'll see.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm not a Brian Kelly fan at all. But hey, we'll see.
I don't think
Uh,
anybody is.
there was a lot of
Nah,
people was
facts.
feeling Brian Kelly though when he took them to the SEC championship. I'm just saying, a lot of people was liking him
Not this
then,
fan, not the LSU fan base. No, he wasn't.
so they didn't like him when he took them to the SEC championship.
No, we had a team to go to the SEC championship.
Hmm, okay, interesting.
Like nobody thought Jaden Daniels was going to be as good as he was. I mean, outside of LSU fans, nobody thought Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas was going to be who they was. Mason
No,
Taylor,
I think Jaden Daniels was a hot commodity, especially coming out of Arizona State. If I'm not ASU, right? I
he
think he
He
was a
was,
hot
was.
commodity.
he
Yeah.
was, but nobody picked him to win the Heisman when he came to LSU. He wasn't even on the Heisman watch list or nothing. So, and then Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas wasn't first round draft picks when the season started. So, but yeah, we'll see.
All right, man. Well, my hot take: Brent Venables and OU. I think they part ways at the end of the year. I'm gonna tell you why. So Brent Venables, his first year was 2022. All right, they went 6-7. 2023, that up year, that's when they had Dylan Gabriel. Right, they went 10-3 that year. Last year, he regressed again. They went back down to 6-7 again. This year, they started the year hot at 5-0 before losing to Texas last week. If you go and look at Oklahoma's schedule, which I'm about to go over, it is brutal. They have the toughest remaining schedule in college football, right, for the rest of the season. They go, they're at South Carolina, then they get Ole Miss at home, they're at Rocky Top in Tennessee, they're at Bama, they get Mizzou at home, and they get LSU at home. So out of those 6 games, they played 5 ranked opponents. That is extremely difficult. And I wasn't high on John Mateer, right? He was like, oh, this guy could win the Heisman. Everybody's talking about this guy because he looks electric out there on the field. But his numbers don't back up his electric style of play. Heading into the Texas game, he was at a 2-for-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which is not very good, right? Good quarterbacks are like 4-1, 3-1, right? When coming out of that Texas game, he's at a 1-for-1 touchdown to interception ratio. So he only has 6 touchdowns passing, 6 interceptions. He only has 180, 95 yards rushing. He does have 5 touchdowns, but he's only averaging 3.4 yards per carry. Oklahoma can't run the ball. They have a good defense, right? They have a good defense, but they can't run the ball. So they're dependent on John Mateer to be Superman. And Texas figured him out early. He did nothing against them, right? Other teams are going to watch that game film and go, barbecue chicken, too easy. And I don't think he does nothing for the rest of the season. And my prediction is that they finish the season. So they got 6 games left. I think they go maybe 2-4 if they're lucky. If they're lucky, they might go 1-5 the remaining 6 games. So
So,
that is my hot
all right.
take, and I think Brent Venables will be gone because OU fans are already talking about it. They is not impressed. They think they needed to win that Texas game to kind of give them some cushion heading into this tough matchup.
So, I don't agree with your hot take. I think they do have a tough schedule, granted. But John Mateer was coming off an injury from 17 days. I mean, he hadn't played in 17 days, hadn't practiced, right? He was rusty. I don't know why they made that call to play him. He should not have played him. They should just went on with Michael Hawkins, took the L, right? And let Mateer rest up for that stretch run. They looked at bad, but I think that was because Mateer was out of sync. You can say it was Texas defense. I won't argue that, but I think they should have rested Mateer. He's been decent, and his time with the with Oklahoma. I think they will sneak in and win a couple of those games. Right? They're not going to win all of them. Like I said, it's a tough stretch. But Brent Venables is a hell of a defensive coach, man. That defense will keep them in a lot of games. It will keep them in a lot of games.
I understand
And
that. The only thing I was saying is that schedule is brutal.
it
And
is.
people are going to tee off on John Mateer just like we did, right? Coming into that game, he had only been sacked 1 time. No, my bad, 2 times coming into that game. And we sacked him 6 times because we didn't respect the running game. They don't have a standout running back. They haven't been able to run the ball all year. He was their running game.
So
I don't see it.
So let's just go back in time. A couple weeks ago, when the season first started, I said, Clemson some shit. They gonna suck. Looks like Clemson sucks. I said, Penn State sucks. They don't play nobody. They get hyped up. Looks like Penn State sucks. And then I believe I said, hey, John Mateer is not really like that if you stop the RPOs in the running game. Get him behind the chains, make him throw the ball against a legit defense, and let's see what happens. Whether he came back or not, I agree. He should have never played last week because he wasn't 100% healthy. But once you're on the field, you're on the field. He threw 3 picks, and 2 of them was terrible picks. So
Bad decision making.
I agree. I think what's actually having Oklahoma with their record is that defense. That offense don't scare me. The offense is not really nothing to be impressed about. Yeah, you got a athlete playing quarterback, but cool. Once you get them behind the chains and stop the run game, it's lights out for them boys. So I agree. I think that with that schedule coming up, it's gonna be tough. They might beat South Carolina, but it's going to be a tough schedule for them to end the season. I never was high on Oklahoma and John Mateer, but that defense is legit. So, like they say, defense win championships, even though they won't win the championship, but defense carries teams, and defenses can make up for the disadvantages you have, especially when it comes to certain teams you play.
No, man. I think, like we all said, Mateer shouldn't have been in that game. And uh, I think they surprised some of these teams. With him healthy, they could run the RPO pretty well. They need a more balanced attack, though. It's a lot on the offense. They had, what, 23 rushing yards against Texas or something like that? Some crazy number like that. It was terrible.
Like I think they
And,
had 30, 38 rush attempts for like 48 yards. Something, yeah, something real bad.
and Texas shut it down, shut him down. So I think they're not, Mateer, a healthy Mateer gives them the best fighting chance to win games down the stretch. I think they brought him back too early for this Texas game. I think Texas would have won with him. I don't know. The way Texas played them and shut him down, they made him one dimensional. And I don't think Mateer's that guy that's going to beat you through the air. So. But Venables, I think what he needs a solid offensive coordinator. Arbuckle came over there from Washington State. Uh, uh, you go from Washington State to OU to SEC football. That's a big
Yeah.
that's a big jump, man.
It is, and another thing that I noticed is that I don't think everybody on the offense is on the same page, right? Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer came in there together, right? They've been doing this for the past 2 years. They know this shit like the back of their hand. It's hard. It's hard to get everybody up to speed on something that you have been doing for 2 years. If I was doing something for 2 years and I tried to get y'all on up to speed on something, we'd have our struggles, and I think they're dealing with that. So, we'll see. But I'm telling you, if Oklahoma goes anything, if they don't win at least two of these games, at
Mm.
least Brent Venables is gone.
And
I,
just
I,
to,
I,
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, just a caveat though. When Mateer was healthy, they did beat Michigan. I don't know
Hmm.
what Michigan is at, in the Big Ten hierarchy, right? But they did beat Michigan with a healthy John Mateer. I think if he's healthy, they can be dangerous.
They can't run the ball, man.
I would
Okay.
say with Mateer being healthy, they would lose to
The
Texas.
same Michigan that just lost to USC. Come on, bro.
Yeah, like
I'm
Uh,
I think the strength of schedule be having college football so wacky because they just be getting, uh, it just be getting people thinking that these teams is like at better than what they really is. Like, no, even if Mateer was healthy, he never got hurt. I would have picked them to lose to Texas, just like I'm gonna pick them to lose to a couple other teams. But it's just not like if you have in the SEC, it's hard to have a quarterback that relies on just running the ball before other part of the offense can get off. So if you like for Oklahoma, if you stop them and get them behind the chains, they're in trouble. They don't have a running back to take the load off of Mateer. So everybody knows Mateer is going to run the ball. Everybody knows they're scheming up the RPOs for Mateer to run the ball. So once you figure that out and have the personnel to stop it, I don't think it's like I said. I think Oklahoma defense, which is one of the best in college football, I think Oklahoma defense is what got them to the wins they got right now.
Listen, man. The running back Torrey Blaylock in that Texas game, he averaged point 0.6 yards per rush, man. Point 0.6.
So if they was on a
His
1 yard
longest
line,
run of the day was like
he couldn't get in.
6 yards. It's Yeah, Oklahoma got
That's
struggles,
funny.
man. They gonna have their struggles. Yeah, well, that does it for this episode of Damn Bias Room. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell a
Yes,
friend to
sir.
tell a friend, tell us how we doing.
Peace.